How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today's video we're going to be checking out the FV4202. We've got a really good replay here for you to watch. We're going to be having a look at what sort of playstyle you should be using on Arctic region in your medium tanks and where the best places to go are. This game was a bit of a carry, so I'm not going to lie, we managed to actually get the win at the end of it. But obviously you'll have to stay tuned to have a look at just how the game developed. And obviously make sure you subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the latest World of Tanks console news and obviously some gameplay in there as well. Now, first things first, obviously when you're moving on this map in a medium tank, you want to be pushing to E5 on the map. This is this area right ahead. You can see that the key area is to actually spot the heavies and mediums that are a bit too slow that move across. As you can see right now, you see this 50 TP, that's the area you want to be spotting for your team. Obviously if they're in the right positions they can get some shots on them, otherwise you can just actually get a few shots off at the beginning of the game onto them as they cross. Now the one thing that you do have to note is that where that AMX 13105 up there, he can actually manage to hit us if he decides to come right over. It does leave him in a bit of a pickle though if our players in E3 manage to actually hit him back. So it's kind of a position where it's really good if they can manage to go up there without getting hit, and they can certainly get some shots down onto you. Now obviously we're waiting here a little bit just to make sure he's not coming out. But that's the key thing. What you've got to do in this is not be too aggressive at the start of a game in a medium tank on Arctic region. You definitely don't want to be going across on this hill area, and you want to make sure that you leave yourself in the game to be able to move about the map and just have a better impact overall in the game. Now, I've obviously not done too much in this game. We haven't got that much support that have been able to actually hit anyone. Don't know why we actually fired there, it wasn't really necessary, but you know, you never know, and since the reload is so small you can take those shots sometimes, and sometimes they do pay off, but don't be doing that all of the time. We managed to get hit there and we didn't even spot the opponent, and which I was really surprised about. I've decided, since I haven't got that much support and I'm not really spotting anyone, I might as well leave and go somewhere else. I think I can be of more support because I know this position in G1, which is actually really good if you can manage to get in there when the situation on the corner at C1 actually goes into this area where they're at. You can get some really good shots on them and you can have a much better game. Obviously it's very hard for them to hit you, and you can hit them very easily, so that's the position we go into in this sort of scenario. Also helps out our team that have been caught in the D2 area, you know, that TD that's just been wiped out of the game. You can see that we went for a shot on the move there just because I wanted to get into position. It really should have hit, but unfortunately we didn't actually manage to do it. Now this position up to my left where you can see this other medium is actually really useful, and you can have some great games from up here, but you don't want to camp here for the whole game. It's more of a position to use if you spot that the enemy team are pushing that corner. It's really defensible and it can be fantastic. Now in terms of that shot, obviously if I was going to say and criticise myself, I would make sure that I actually fully aim that shot because we could have helped out our teammate there a little bit more, but unfortunately we didn't. And we went for the auto aim. We got hit by the back chat there, which is kind of unfortunate since we weren't spotted for that long. But what we are going to do now is just make sure that we use our tank to be able to have some good game in this area here. As you can see, it's very defensible, and what you need to be doing in this is only exposing your turret. You don't want to expose your hull armour, which is obviously the bottom half of your tank. You want to literally just be locking down opponents, like you can see with the C75. We're specifically aiming for the track. Got a bit unfortunate not to actually just continually pen him, but now we are going for that final destructive shot there. So it's kind of interesting, these sort of gameplays. It's not necessarily easy, but what I do find is when you're putting into a scenario where you can have some really good games, it can be really fun. Now I've noticed that my TD down on my right has actually been ambushed by a Barask, I believe, and I think it's time for me to actually push up and help my TD down there. It's an FE 4005. Unfortunately, he has already fired at the Barask, leaving him on a one-shot, but it does mean the Barask can actually reload and deal some damage back to him, which is not something we want, and certainly not something I hope that my teammate can get taken out from, because we might need his gun in the end of this. Now, as we moved over, we did actually spot a TD and also the E100. So it's really crucial that we actually did that play, and also making sure that we do stay in cover throughout the whole of this. I noticed that it's a death start on this corner over here, and sometimes you do need to push, even if it does mean you might take a shot of damage. You can see that he's on a one shot for us, unless we super low roll, which would be very, very, very unlucky if we managed to low roll that much. I know that obviously the RNG's got a little worse after update 6.0. For some reason they decided that plus 25% accuracy minus 15% accuracy RNG was good, and then having plus 25 or minus 25% damage plus 15% damage RNG was better for some reason. I don't know, making things more accurate, but also meaning that when you do actually hit, you don't pen, or you don't deal as much damage, I should say. So as you can see, what we did there was we actually baited the FE215B183 into firing with that massive gun that could have easily taken off 90% of my hit points that I had left. Luckily he missed us, which means that we can actually carry on with our game, conserve a little bit of hit points that we might need later on in the game, and hopefully win this one overall. Now, it's quite difficult now because we have got a TD that I don't know exactly how much hit points he's on. We've got a Batchat who's decided that he's just going to YOLO, and then we've got a heavy and another medium that we don't know, and obviously the bane of everyone's existence, artillery. Luckily our artillery there hits the Batchat really easily, which is really, really nice for us anyway, because that means we don't have to waste another shell or potentially lose our TD there to the Batchat. Now, as I came here, we obviously spotted the Deathstalker, and you can see that I should have aimed that one. Really, I made a misplay there, unfortunately. And then when we're firing our Hesh rounds, we don't actually manage to pen the Deathstalker, which means that we're going to have to actually move up and try and deal with him ourselves. Hopefully not take any more damage. I'm cautious that I am actually spotted right now, and I don't exactly know where that TD is, which is not good at all, to be honest, because I think it was a Jaegeru, if I'm right. No, it was an FV 4005. Obviously that's got a massive gun, and you definitely don't want to be getting hit by that. Now, this is where the Hesh rounds of the FV4202 come in really, really useful. You saw that 500 damage roll. That was absolutely fantastic, and it means that we can actually hit these lightly armoured tanks with that gun, and the actual penetration of this is decent as well. I think it's like 212, which means that most weak points of every single tier 10 can be actually penned by that, and it means that, you know, this kind of heavy that's over here, we can actually manage to take him out if we just hit him, because he's on that low health that even if we don't pen, we will probably take him out anyway. Now obviously he's doing a bit of a good play here. He's trying to move back, he's trying to avoid any kind of damage that I might be able to deal to him, but I'm also nervous that his turret is actually really strong on that thing. So if he manages to go hold down, it might mean that I'll take a shot here, which I really don't want to. And obviously I'm not very arty safe here, which means that, you know, the artillery, although he's just fired, will be reloaded very soon, and I have to move out the way. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. So I think at this point I was thinking that I need to move around, maybe go in the E5 area, down in that dip where you saw at the start of the game we were in. But I think I decide that after my teammate spots the opponents, they were both back there in just a second, that I decide that that isn't a good idea, and I should probably help out our teammate as this 50 TP moves up to try and take out our one-shot teammate there. Now obviously you see us using our mobility. This thing does get 50 kilometers an hour forward, which is actually really nice, and certainly can be very useful when you're playing in your game. Obviously we're having a bit of a derp here, trying to fall over. Don't quite know what we're doing, but we are moving into this area here to try and get a shot on obviously that 50 TP or 60 TP that's moved up. We get outspotted. Deathstalker is there for some reason. We put one shot into him, but we only deal 183 damage because obviously we're firing that Hesh rounds. That's the one problem that I had this game. I should have really been focusing on not firing those Hesh rounds. Very nervous that artillery can hit us there, because we did see that he fired from around the H9 area on the map, which is kind of disturbing considering he's obviously not that bad of an artillery player considering he's actually moved up. We managed to hit the cupola of the 50 TP there, which means that he's been taken out. And we noticed that the artillery actually fired at our teammate there, which means that he must be on our right over here. And so what we're going to have to do is be very aggressive. We're going to have to push this Deathstalker, and then we're going to take him out of the game and then turn around for this artillery. Obviously I've got my ass to this guy, so it's making sure that we actually don't get taken out entirely, but he does hit us with one shot, and hopefully before he manages to escape we take him out of the game. Now unfortunately for us, we don't actually manage to do that, and I did block my teammate's shot there, not on purpose, but we accidentally did that, which means that the artillery is still left alive. And at this point I'm going to push up, use my kind of mobility, make sure that I come from an angle that the artillery player probably won't be expecting, unless we get very unlucky. Our medium's pushing up with us, which means that pretty much guaranteed to win this game. The artillery is a one shot, and if he fires at one of us, so long as we don't go in the exact same postcode, then it means that we'll be able to actually remove him from the game and win the game overall. Now you see I came from a really weird direction. He wasn't entirely ready. He's probably expecting us to come straight over the top, but we don't do that, and we actually managed to pick up the win there. Now that situation was very risky. We did actually manage to deal a decent amount of damage, but there were certainly opportunities where I could have maximised my game a little bit better and had some more of an impact in the game. Managed to pick up 7 kills, 4,900 damage and some assistance, 1,900 assistance. We didn't pick up the Radley Walters medal, but we did pick up a Top Gun and a Devastator, Bruiser, Fire for Effect, Hand of God, and a couple of other ones. But we managed to make 50,000 silver as well, and we managed to spot 6 enemies, make some progress towards the season challenges that are going on right now, and overall ended up being quite a nice game for us to play in. Hopefully my overview and my thought process as to this video helped you out a little bit. I have got some more videos that are very similar. I've got some live gameplay that I'll link in a playlist at the end of this one. It should be on screen right now. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please hit that like button. Remember to subscribe to the channel down below and check out any content that I've done recently. If you want to check out any of the news videos, I've got a few that have come out recently, so you can have a look at those if you want to get up to date with the latest World of Tanks console news. If not, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.